This is the Speak For Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin, Cowherd, and Jason Whitlock. I am your host, Jason McIntyre. Folks, I'm reeling from that Game 4 defeat the Warriors suffered, but fear not, the series could end tonight. You know nobody that backs the Warriors wants to see a Game 6. Should be a good one. We had a great show today. First up, Cowherd tells us all to relax and says these NBA Finals have gone exactly as we thought they would. All Cleveland has done is win one home game. It's Kyrie versus Steph Curry. And former NBA champ Eddie House lists all the skills that Kyrie has over Curry. But our Fox Hoops analyst Chris Broussard says he's with Steph over Kyrie. So am I. I'm with Broussard on that one. We debate LeBron's comments about Tom Brady being the best athlete in sports. And Jason Whitlock lays out all the reasons he thinks, wait for it, Colin Kaepernick should sign with the Cowboys. Plus, we talk about whether or not the Warriors should be concerned about the mental state of Draymond Green. Ready for Speak For Yourself? Cowherd and Whitlock, take it away.
All right, welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why the Cowboys should sign Colin Kaepernick. You heard me right.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you whether the Cavs or Warriors have more pressure on them tonight. Speak For Yourself on a Monday starts right now.
Kaepernick to the Cowboys. I can't wait till we get to that discussion. I really believe it. All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard and NBA champion Eddie House. Coming up, we'll talk Colin Kaepernick and the Cowboys. But let's start with the NBA Finals, where LeBron and the Cavaliers finally showed up Friday, blowing out the Warriors in Game 4. Cleveland is now down 3-1, exactly where they were last year before their historic comeback. And the Cavs' Richard Jefferson now says the pressure is all on Golden State.
It's not on us. There's not on the pressure. Where's the pressure on us? They had a 73-win team and they added a former MVP. We added Kyle Korver and Darren Williams. The pressure is all on them. We believe that we are the defending champs. We believe that we have enough here to win a championship, and we haven't played great thus far. But there's no pressure on us. There never has. There's never been that. It's been about them proving that last year was a fluke. KD validating the move here, which has been validated. But no, we feel very comfortable.
Colin, I agree with damn near everything Richard Jefferson just said. And I'm a bit concerned about the Warriors handling this pressure that is now on them. Are you worried about the Warriors?
No, what worries me in pressure is like youth, like if they were young. But outside of Ian Clark, I mean, Steph and KD have 18 years in the league. They've lost one home game since April. I mean, they should be comfortable tonight, and I trust them. These are veteran players, and this has gone so much better than I thought. Like, I picked Cleveland. I thought this year would be rough. I thought it would be Miami, LeBron, Wade, Bosh. I think it's working. I think they're where they're at. If you'd have told everybody a month ago we're going to end up Cleveland and Golden State, most people would have said Cleveland will win a home game, Warriors in 5. That's exactly where we're at tonight, and I think Golden State's favored by about 9, and that feels light to me.
Losing one game on the road to a team that put up a historic shooting performance is nothing to be alarmed about. So tonight, I agree, they should be comfortable. But if they lose tonight, I think you can make a strong argument Cleveland's favored to win the series.
I agree.
And I think mentally it will get in the Warriors' head. It will be their 5th straight elimination loss to Cleveland when they couldn't close the deal. In those 4 previous games, Steph Curry has shot 36% from the field, 33% from 3. And remember, Kevin Durant has also lost 4 straight elimination games. He shot 40% and 26% from 3. So if they lose tonight, then I think they're going to have a lot of mental gymnastics going on in their head.
Yeah, I think they definitely have more pressure than Cleveland. Cleveland, RJ saying that they don't have any pressure at all. I don't buy it. You're in an elimination game. You lose, you go home.
Yes.
That's some sort of pressure. Now, is it overwhelming pressure where you can't perform? No, it usually makes you perform better. Now, on the flip side, Golden State, the pressure they have is closing this team out and closing them out on their home court. I don't think that they ever been tested this year, Golden State. And this is starting to get ratcheted up a little bit defensively. Cleveland is buzzing around. They playing with a sense of urgency. Now, I want to see how the Warriors respond to that because everything's been so comfortable for them throughout the whole season. Even when KD got hurt, it got comfortable for Steph. He was able to come out of his shell a little bit and find his game again. I want to see, now, even in the playoffs, it's been so comfortable. This was the first time I've seen them uncomfortable. Can they handle it? I think there's a lot of pressure on them.
Look, I picked the Warriors in 5, but I don't get all there's no concern. Well, why aren't we concerned? Draymond Green is starting to act like Draymond Green. He's gotten 2 technical fouls the last couple of games. Zaza Pachulia is throwing shots at people's groin area. They look out of sorts in Game 4. Now, obviously, Cleveland knocked down a boatload of shots, and we'll never see that again. But as someone who thought the Warriors were going to handle this easily, I'm a bit concerned. They looked it's turned into a little bit of a fight. And the light-skinned dudes just ain't the greatest fighters.
Ali.
What about Ali? We used
The best
to not
of all
be able to
time.
hoop either, right? That was the myth. You ain't saying that no more.
Okay, but there's 2 things. One, Draymond got suspended last year for this game, so he's here.
Thank you.
Secondly, do you remember, and I love Harrison Barnes. He's one of the best guys in the league. Let's go back to the shot chart. It wasn't that Harrison was off. Harrison was anemic in the last 3 games. Okay, so and that's not struggling. By Harrison standards, that's the worst he's ever played. So now it's KD. If I said to you right now, KD isn't great tonight, I can still see Golden State rolling away. I'm struggling today to imagine how Cleveland wins.
I don't know about that. I think KD has to be great tonight, and that's going to cement him in that conversation of, is he starting to become the best player in the world? Because Steph, he could have another one of these games. Steph, they're starting to work him on the defensive end. You see Kyrie, and he cannot guard Kyrie. You start getting buckets hit on you, bucket after bucket, it gets into your head, and it can affect, how they always say, don't let your defense affect your offense or don't let your offense affect your defense, and I think that's what Steph is going through right now.
To me,
well, at least in Game 4,
the reason I'm concerned is like, this went from a nice little church league series to now they've taken it outside to the park. And LeBron and them are very comfortable in the park in a physical game. And if it turns into a fight, I don't like Golden State.
If Game 4 was anything, it was a tale of 2 point guards. Kyrie Irving went off for the Cavs, going for 40 and sparking their record 86-point first half. It was an all-star game. Meanwhile, Steph Curry looked lost, finishing with just 14 on 13 shots. Now, if you look at the numbers, Curry has had something of a split personality in the finals. That part is clear. With his 3 shots per game, 3-point shooting, assists, way down in losses. And as you see there, Steph struggles, so do the Warriors. When he does, they do. So, Jason, do you trust Kyrie more tonight or Steph more tonight?
This goes back to church league versus out in the park. A lot of wind when you play outside, and the guy that can get to the rim and finish makes more buckets. Kyrie Irving, if his outside shot's not working, he's going to go to the hole and finish at the rim. You got to, in these elimination games, look at the numbers for Kyrie Irving. And again, I love Steph Curry, but those elimination numbers speak for themselves. 4-0, 32 points a game, 53% shooting from 2, 55% from 3. I trust Kyrie more.
But Steve Kerr has said he'd like to free Steph up tonight. Yeah. That's one of the game plans that's kind of, if not leaked out, it's been kind of one of the messages. And I think they'll design things for him. Listen, what's remarkable about Steph is, as great as he is, he's been 2 different players in the series. And I agree that Kyrie can do both, finish at the rim. I just feel like this is a team that's lost once at home since April. And before that, lost once since March when all 4 guys played. I just think Cleveland's last win was an aberration. They'll never shoot like that again. We've never seen any team shoot like that. I think it was an exception to the rule.
Could have won Game 3.
But and they have a they have a game plan that can stop or slow down Steph Curry. And we saw in Game 3, they doubled him and dared Draymond to shoot and beat it. Just like they did last year, they dared Harrison Barnes to beat you, and he couldn't. I think, not that I don't trust Steph, but I think Kyrie is more likely to have a bigger game because he has to. Like, Cleveland cannot hope to win if he isn't phenomenal. Golden State can win if Durant could be big, Clay could be big, Draymond could be big, and Steph could be okay, and they can win. Kyrie can't be okay, so I think he's going to come up bigger.
Yeah, I agree with you. Kyrie has to have at least 25 or more, at least 25 or more. I mean, maybe even 30 for the Cavs to even have an opportunity to win this game. And to your point, in Game 3, they came out and they trapped Steph, kind of disrupted his rhythm early in the game. And then when KD and Clay went to the bench in that second quarter, I don't know why they pulled the trap off, but that's right when Steph got going. He got comfortable. And Kyrie's going to dominate the ball more than Steph is. The way the Golden State plays, they move that basketball, they move their bodies. Cleveland is two guys that's pretty much dominating the basketball, dribbling the air out of it, and making all the plays for I won't say dribbling the air, but making all the plays for everybody. So Kyrie is a guy that I'm expecting to have a much better night, and I trust to have a better night.
Golden State's a system. I mean, it really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
no question.
Cleveland's really an ISO act. So, I mean, if you're talking stats, Kyrie's almost guaranteed to literally, he's going to have the ball more. And whereas I find one of the things remarkable about Golden State is I can see 8 different guys leading the break. I mean, if you go back to Game 1, I mean, Durant was dominant. I would argue for a big part of this series, Steph has not been a factor. That's not that he's bad.
The first three
First three games, his numbers are great.
Listen,
he's averaging almost a triple-double in the first
No,
three games.
I'm not saying that, but he doesn't feel as influential. Durant in the first 2 games felt like he carried the series. LeBron felt like he carried. Kyrie felt like he carried Game 4.
Listen, I take nothing away from Steph's 2 MVPs. To me, he deserved them. But Kyrie Irving's a better player. I'm just sorry. He's a better player.
He's a better one-on-one player.
I think he's a better finisher around the basket,
Yes,
but not by much.
Steph's
Steph is a great finisher, and he has a better handle, but Steph's handle is impeccable.
best probably in the
So,
league.
I mean, he has just a slight edge, I think, if you talk about them matched up head to head. But I think that's part of the reason why you see Coach Kerr is not putting him on him, not allowing Steph to guard Kyrie, because he knows that can hurt Steph's psyche. Steph cannot guard Kyrie, and there's not too many guys out there that can, but Steph definitely is one of those guys that can't. And it takes away from his offensive firepower on the other end, because it kind of disrupts his rhythm, number one, because he has to worry about stopping this guy. And then when you get drained, then you come down and you miss a shot, then it just starts snowballing effect and piling on. And I think that's the big problem, and that's why I always will ride with Kyrie, because of those reasons, that he has the ball and he has supreme confidence. I mean, never way. Even he was 0 for 7 in Game 3, and he was 0 for 6 and took that last crazy three-point shot, and they couldn't stop him getting to the basket. So I'm riding with Kyrie.
I would rather have Steph on my team, just because I think his jump shooting, he's easier to play in the system. You hit it on the head. We see a system versus 2 guys creating everything.
Do you honestly believe, though, Kyrie couldn't play and perform at a high level in that system?
He'd
With
be
all
a
that
much
space.
different player, because he wouldn't be dominating the ball like that.
Yes, fair question.
And he could be good because he's a good shooter himself.
It's a fair question, because I don't think Westbrook could. And I think Kyrie could. But as of tonight, we have a system and ISO acts.
But in that system, I'm just saying, Kyrie would get to the hole so much easier, get to the rim so much easier. I love Kyrie in this series.
Welcome back, Eric Davis, Jason McIntyre, both here. Let's move to the best basketball player on the planet. Come on now, it's LeBron, whose production company just released a cool special called The Shop, featuring LeBron and his friends sitting around a barbershop, discussing all kinds of topics, including whether Tom Brady's the greatest athlete of all time. Here's what LeBron thinks.
Brady is unbelievable. Brady is the greatest quarterback I ever seen.
That's a great point.
But he affects the game one way. And that's by throwing the ball. And it's great.
You're right.
This as a basketball player, and the pounding that you take and running both sides. Okay, now I gotta do offense. Oh, I gotta get back on defense. Oh, I gotta get back on offense. Oh, I gotta get back on defense. For us, every single night, like, you have to, like, you gotta know both sides.
All right, Whitlock, does LeBron sound jealous of Tom?
He sounds like a man that's sipping a little Hennessy at a barbershop. Look, no, you saw him. He was holding a glass of Hennessy. That was Hennessy or something. He sounded real and authentic. He sounded. I love the deal. Is he a little jealous of Tom Brady? Probably, maybe, but not in some super negative way. Look, he's a competitor. He probably wants to be regarded as the greatest athlete of all time, and certainly of this era, and he knows that Tom Brady is the competition. I don't agree with LeBron's argument, but I like the fact
love
that
his
he had it.
argument. I think he nailed it. Remember that old thing called Superstars on ABC?
Yeah.
You put LeBron and Tom
Oh,
Brady.
that's not the question.
Well, I mean, you're telling me Tom Brady, football players are mostly, outside of an occasional corner wide receiver, they're specialists. NBA players are freaks
What's
of
the
nature.
hardest thing to do in sports? Play quarterback.
Guard Kevin Durant.
Play quarterback. No, it ain't. A lot of guys do that. Play quarterback.
Oh, come
It's
on.
the hardest thing to do
Oh,
in
that's the
sports.
hardest thing to do, and that's the hardest position.
That doesn't mean you're the best
It's the hardest
athlete.
position. No, this is what I'm going to say. Now, if we're talking, like, what's the question when you say, for number one, he's not jealous of the guy. It's LeBron. He's not jealous of Tom Brady. But when you start talking about no, he's not, and you start talking about the greatest athlete, do you mean by job description, like pro athlete? If you mean that, then you can throw Tom in there. But if you start saying the greatest athlete when you're talking about athleticism, did you guys not see Tom Brady's combine tape? There's nothing athletic about Tom Brady, okay? So if you can't put that in the greatest athlete conversation if you're talking about athleticism. But if you're talking about, as a job description, a pro athlete, is he one of the greatest pro athletes ever? You can have that discussion because the quarterback is the hardest position to play in sports. That's the only,
Yeah,
that's
but
the
a
only
lot
way
of
I can
what
look
makes
at
it hard is it's pre-snap, it's memorization, it's coverage understanding.
Oh, so the mental aspect doesn't matter.
No,
it's also the whiplash.
By the way,
knowing that you're going to stand there and get blasted.
Oh, he never gets hit.
It takes a certain person to be able to do that.
Like this.
That doesn't make you the best athlete. You can be the best quarterback, the best leader.
The best winner.
By the way, you know what the NFL is? It's a bunch of frustrated basketball players.
No, stop it.
No,
Stop it.
Brady's
Stop it.
jealous of NBA players.
You know, I'm actually
I get
going
that money without getting hit.
Oh, that's true. Okay, winner.
I don't think he's jealous at all, but I do want to say this. Remember, he's kind of the ambassador of the NBA. When he speaks, people listen, right? You said that All-Star break? What if he's trying to set a narrative here? This is my opportunity. They tee up a softball to LeBron, and he's trying to set a narrative that NBA players are better athletes than NFL players.
It's interesting.
What if
You were
LeBron
right.
is
That was
trying
Henny.
to put that out there?
That was Henny in his cup. No, you're getting too deep.
By the way,
He's trying to let everybody know NFL's the most popular sport in America.
It's not.
But guess what? We're the best athletes.
No, I'm going to tell you this. LeBron thinks about everything. This idea was just Hennessy and happenstance,
not
and I
off
didn't
the
know
cuff.
where I was going. LeBron is one of the smartest athletes. Like, you talk about influence. Derek Jeter wore Michael Jordan's gear. That's influence. I'll tell you what influence is. LeBron says, let's go political. The other stars go political. I agree with McIntyre. I think LeBron, he's just floating that balloon out there a little bit like, you do get, folks. I'm going to throw you something you've never heard.
No, I will say what he said about this aspect of it, the effect on the game, because I think personally, I've never seen anyone affect the football game as much as Jerry Rice. Everything you did offensively was based on Jerry Rice. Everything you did defensively was based on stopping Jerry Rice. I don't necessarily think that's the same with Tom Brady. Because when LeGarrette Blount is running over people, you build your team to stop him first. So I get what he's saying right there. But as far as playing quarterback is the most difficult thing to do.
Listen, I just want to be clear on this as well. LeBron's an all-time great athlete. I'm not in any way trying to besmirch anything he's accomplished. But when you talk about basketball and football, they play 16 times a year in the regular season. You're lucky you play 3 or 4 playoff games. Every game is played at such an intensity level and such a violent intensity level. These guys are sleepwalking through most of the NBA season. They're taking breaks. They're resting. And LeBron's about, then you got to play offense. Then you got to play defense. Then you got to play offense. Then you got to play defense. At what speed? At what intensity level? A lot of times they're sleepwalking till the fourth quarter or hell the entire game. And I'm not knocking them. The NBA is great. But when you start talking about football and you start talking about the quarterback position, it's the hardest thing to do in sports. You have 300-pound men that run 4.8 and 4.9 40s coming after you and can really do some significant damage to you. Concussions, the whole hurt your knee, the whole 9 yards, and you got to deliver that football.
But if being an athlete, you had to be a great quarterback, then Cam would dominate this world and Brady would be sitting on a bench. Athletic ability is like fifth.
Didn't say you have to do it. You know, that's the thing. You don't have to be a great athlete.
By the way, let's show one more time. Can we show the LeBron dunk again? No, seriously. I want our director I want one time.
I've seen him dunk plenty.
Okay.
What does it mean?
You tell me if when we show this video, Okay, think of Tom Brady doing that.
All right, well, think of LeBron James running a 100-meter dash as fast as Usain Bolt. Won't happen. Colin Kaepernick is still looking for work, but just got some love from a surprising place, Dallas, Texas, where Cowboys quarterback coach Wade Wilson had some kind words for the activist quarterback, saying, quote, he's taken a team to a Super Bowl. He has a ton of talent. Now, does his personal agenda get over the team agenda? I don't know that, and I haven't been around him enough to know. But like I said, I do think he's talented enough to deserve a chance to be on a team. Cowherd, would the Cowboys be a good fit for Kaepernick?
What quarterback with that line wouldn't be? Blaine Gabbert works on. I mean, that's the.
No, stop it.
That's the best O-line in football. That's the best young running back. The staff is all offensive leaning, quarterback friendly. They've got a star receiver on the outside. And also, beyond that, Dak's really popular, not only among fans, among players. He kind of saved the season last year. Dak saved the season. The year before when Romo got hurt, they were atrocious. I think it's a fairly bulletproof system for a polarizing backup.
So you're saying bring in Kaepernick?
Well, I'm saying the question being, would he be a good fit? Yeah,
No,
I mean,
I'm
he's fine.
saying bring in Kaepernick. I really am. And I've been down on Kaepernick and the whole national anthem thing.
You said 2 weeks ago this was the team.
Yeah, and the reason is their brand is bigger than the Kaepernick controversy. The Dallas Cowboys will swallow up his controversy. The fact that they will be Super Bowl or bust this year, having felt like they let one slip away next year. Kaepernick can't bring his controversy to that team because the players will turn around, hey, man, no. We're here to win a Super Bowl. We ain't doing that. We let one slip away last year. And so the teammates, there will be no threat to Dak Prescott. He's popular in that locker room. He's a young African-American quarterback. And then the final thing is, I'm just saying, the Jerry Jones that I like and respect, I can go through a whole laundry list of Greg Hardy, Rolando McClain, Adam Pac-Man Jones, Terrell Owens, Randy Gregory, Des Bryant, black athletes that have been involved in controversies or criminal behavior or drug suspensions or whatever. Jerry Jones has worked with them on second and third chances. He's the perfect owner to work with Kaepernick on bringing his stuff back to the NFL and working through this controversy. I love the Cowboys
Hold on,
fit.
Jason. So Dak Prescott spent about 12 weeks last year looking over his shoulder at Tony Romo. For 12 weeks at least. And now that Romo's gone, you're telling me Dak's going to have to look over his shoulder at a guy who's been to a Super Bowl. Kaepernick, listen, you just said Super Bowl, and I think this is a Super Bowl team. So he's going to spend all season looking over his shoulder.
Not
We've never
even
been.
remotely.
I never won a playoff game. I'm Dak Prescott.
Not even
Kaepernick
remotely.
over here. I went to a Super Bowl.
You know what, Jason? I started off thinking that it would be a
McIntyre or
good.
Whitlock?
I'm saying Whitlock right now. I started off thinking the way you were thinking on this. I'm with McIntyre right now because the more I look at this and the point he just brought up, Dak is still a very young player. You talked about it, young African-American player. He doesn't have a full season under his belt just yet.
He does have a full season.
No. I'm talking about he has that going a full season after everyone has started to see what he can and cannot do. And you say there's no pressure on him. He's got to come out and show that it wasn't a fluke. We've seen a lot of guys. We sit here and we're talking about Kaepernick right now. We saw Cap have some early success, and then it changed. Okay? Dak, right now, the pressure is on him for the first time. There was no pressure last year. And I've said it, but the pressure's on him now to perform. Having Cap in that locker room might not be a good thing.
Dallas has the toughest schedule in the league. They really do. I'll just ask you. They're 3-3.
No one says go to Kaepernick. Not one sane
Wait, hold on.
person.
Yes, they do. If
not one sane person.
If they're not playing
Well,
well,
not everybody's sane.
If they're not playing well,
Yes.
Okay, at the quarterback position. Now, you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys being large enough, with the brand is, yes, it is. We talk about a global brand. It's large enough to suck up the controversy if he's the backup. But if your starter's not playing well, now he's got to hit the field. That's why I still say Seattle's a better place. That's an established veteran that's won the Super Bowl, that's not going anywhere. Dak hasn't done that yet, even though I believe he can be that guy.
Look, the other thing I've been saying for weeks is Tony Romo's the backup quarterback in Dallas. He's just sitting in a broadcast booth. If the stuff hit the fan, trust me, Romo will be headed back to Dallas. Kaepernick is no threat to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott gets hurt. Kaepernick, to me, is an ideal guy to play a couple, 2 or 3 games until Romo gets ready or whatever they have to do at quarterback.
And with that offensive line, you do that read option, and Kaepernick moves the chains.
But I got no problem with it. I got no problem with it.
You said the owner, this is the perfect spot.
Yeah.
John Mara is another blue blood owner in the NFL. Yeah. So is Jerry Jones. You think he's going to get a lot of mail about Kaepernick if they announce that they're bringing him in?
Did you listen to the list of names I read off?
Nobody cares about
Oh, no. There was no mail for Greg Hardy.
But Dallas is a very conservative, military first, patriarch. I mean, that's Dallas.
But Jerry Jones doesn't care. That's one thing. Jerry's going to do what he wants to do, but I completely disagree with the notion that it won't be an issue within the locker room because you still don't have a quarterback that has shown he can do it over the long haul. And as a former player, you see a lot of guys do it once.
Eric,
can you do it again?
The guy had Tony Romo sitting in the locker room all last year, and not one Cowboy wavered. Not one Cowboy wavered, but they're going to waver because Colin Kaepernick, who can do the read option and make one read on the field, they're going, oh, my God, we got to put Kaepernick
because the quarterback played well. Now, this is what I'm saying. What happens if he comes in? You're assuming that everything is going to go perfectly. And that rarely happens the second year for a quarterback. So if he's not playing well, now you got a quarterback, a guy who's led a team to a Super Bowl that you may start to hear some whispers. Can he hit the field?
If Kaepernick plays with that offense, he'll move the ball.
Yes. Great. That would be a good thing. That would be a positive. You're explaining reasons to sign.
He's all in on Kaepernick now.
No.
Did you guys talk
with
this
the Cowboys? Look, everything I've said about Kaepernick is true. He's an idiot. Should have never put himself in this position. But the Cowboys make sense. All right, welcome back. Chris Broussard and Eddie House are back with us. Let's return to the NBA Finals. That was us talking about the NBA Finals a year ago. Now let's talk about Game 4. Brought back memories of last year's Draymond Green with Draymond's fiery behavior on the court, nearly getting him ejected Friday night. After the game, Draymond took a shot at Cleveland fans, saying they're, quote, not sharp. But even after an outcry, Draymond refused to shy away from his comments.
You know, they thought I had a tech I didn't have, so that wasn't sharp.
It was on the box show. Everybody thought you had that tech.
I knew I didn't, so maybe I'm just a little sharper than others then, huh? I don't know. But they played hit the road, Jack, and I didn't have to hit the road, so I didn't think that was that sharp. But maybe you thought that was sharp.
Well, I was looking at the box score.
I was looking at reality.
Colin, should the Warriors be worried about Draymond Green tonight?
No. You remember who the best player for Golden State was last year in Game 7? It was Draymond Green. I think he's fine. I think he learned. I think people learn. He made a mistake. He's a young player. He had an off-season issue. I think he's grown up. I read a story last week where he literally really sat and said, I blew it. I blew the series. And I think he's a smart enough guy. I mean, he's funny. He gets it. He's self-aware. Again, young people, this is still a really young team. These guys are mid-20s. I think he's auto-corrected. I think he's in good shape, and I think they roll tonight with him.
Listen, I'm worried just because I think Zaza Pachulia drives me crazy. But other than him, Draymond's the guy I'm most worried about because I don't think he's been that effective in this series. He's not knocking down threes. He's gotten 2 technical fouls the last 2 games. I'm really worried about him. If he were playing well, I would have the utmost confidence that they'll take care of business tonight. But I think he's been very ineffective, and I think he's frustrated.
Well, if I'm the Warriors, my level of concern is not that high, but I'm concerned a little bit just because of some of the antics that he has. He straddles the line between going too far and pushing the envelope a little bit too much because when you look at it, he'll get a foul and he'll run down the court, and then on TV we can see exactly what he's saying. We can read his lips. The one thing I think the referees have done a great job of is not getting involved and making it about them. I think if they...
Did you watch Game 4?
Yeah, I watched Game 4, but I think the refs have actually done a fantastic job in this series. They've been pretty much out the way. They've been letting guys play physical. They've been letting guys show emotion. And Draymond is the most emotional guy that's out there on the court. Wears the emotions on his sleeve. So I think the level of concern is you have some if you're the Warriors, but I don't think it's too much.
I'm about 80% sure Draymond will be fine. All right, there's a 20% there I'm worried about.
So you're worried.
Well, what I'm worried
Very
about,
small.
because you're right. I mean, half the time when he's running around the court or getting in the ref's face, asking them questions about this foul call, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, that ref, all he has to do is snap and be like, look, get out of it. You know what I mean?
Crawford.
Yeah, you push it. He pushes them a little too much, and they show good restraint. But here's my thing with Draymond, because you're right. He knows what he did last year. He definitely doesn't want to do that again. But if they dare him, like tonight, like they did in Game 4, they're going to give him the open shots. And if he's missing them, that's embarrassing. He's a prideful guy. If he's sitting there missing open J after open J, that could start to frustrate him. And then that's when he could start doing some things that cross the line and maybe get himself in trouble.
Where are the putback buckets? Where are in the Western Conference? We saw some great defensive stretches from Draymond Green. I haven't seen it in this series. Draymond, everybody, pride is the right word. He's a prideful guy. I don't know if he wants to go through this entire series as the fourth wheel. Or even the fifth wheel, because hell, Livingston and Iguodala both have done some things. What has been Draymond's stamp on this series? What has he done? Everybody else to me has had their moments except for him.
Or Steve Kerr wants it that way and did not want to build a series in which he relied on Draymond Green. So actually, it's a very safe series for Kerr. He's not going to get shots tonight. They're going to build it up for Steph.
Because Cleveland's that's going to be their strategy, I'm assuming. They're going to double Steph, stay with Clay and Durant, and basically give him the shots.
Iguodala, they're going to dare Iguodala. They're going to dare Draymond Green. They're going to dare Livingston. All those guys to beat them from the perimeter. So that's exactly what they're doing. And as far as Draymond being the fourth guy, I mean,
that's what he is.
That's what he is. You got KD, going to push him down the ladder. You got Steph, pushed him down the ladder. You got Clay, push him down the ladder.
Most important player. A lot of people were saying
but
that.
his game is versatile. So if he gets his assists, his rebounds, you're right, he's not doing it. He's losing the matchup to Kevin Love.
Well, he's on the perimeter a lot, if you think about it. He's always around the perimeter, and that's what the way that Cleveland is funneling him, is to be on the perimeter and keeping him off the glass. And if there is somebody there down on the block, if he's down on the block, you know what they're doing. They're keeping a body on him to make sure he's off the glass.
I'm just very comfortable with confrontational people. I like working with them. I'm comfortable with them.
This is the Speak For Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. I'm your host, Jason McIntyre. Remember, you can always catch the podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and every day it's on YouTube. Folks, I had a phenomenal interview on my radio show Saturday with former NBA ref Tim Donaghy, and he's worried about Game 6. He thinks the NBA wants a Game 6, and I'm fired up because, darn it, the Warriors better win or I'm going to be inconsolable tomorrow. See you tomorrow.